ASRock has kind of sort of admitted fault. Re the dead Ryzen 9000 X3D CPUs. After over 100 reports of Ryzen 9000 CPUs dying or experiencing performance issues when paired with ASRock motherboards, ASRock has finally acknowledged that yes, their hardware may have partially been to blame. Previously, the company had released confusing statements blaming the issues on memory config issues and on debris getting lodged in the CPU socket. But this week, YouTuber TechYesCity reported that ASRock's motherboard team told him the problem had to do with AMD's Precision Boost Overdrive feature. Without getting too technical, AMD's maximum supported PBO settings may have been too high, allowing ASRock's custom tuning within those parameters to be too aggressive. It's important to note that while the vast majority of dead 9800 X3D cases happened on ASRock boards, some also happened on ASUS MSI and Gigabyte boards as well. This tracks with the idea that both AMD's PBO settings and OEM settings were part of the issue. ASRock has released a new BIOS update that they hope will fix the issue, but as of writing this, neither ASRock nor AMD have released official statements regarding this. It's unclear how users are supposed to be informed of this new BIOS update. Some reports have also emerged of CPUs dying while running the new BIOS, or without ever using PBO. ASRock VP of Motherboard Business Chris Lee also told Gamers Nexus that the company is fully committed to fixing any motherboards that have been damaged and even covering shipping costs for affected users. I'm honestly a little surprised that they're even covering this because I think AMD has been pretty explicit that PBO is overclocking and that it isn't covered. To be clear, I'm glad they're covering it because the way that they message things like PBO tends to vary depending on who they're talking to. You know, like you'll hear them when you talk about, you know, how your product is supposed to compare to the other guy's product when you're reviewing it. They tend to be like, oh yeah, Expo, you know, make sure you got it enabled. Here's a 6400 megatransfer per second kit. It'll probably work on your chip. Let us know if it's not working. You know, they tend to want the best case scenario when they're positioning their product performance-wise against a competitor. But then there's also a tendency, and I'm not singling out AMD here, this is across the board, there's also a tendency to downplay how safe these settings are when it comes to user warranty. So I think it's pretty cool that ASRock is stepping up to the plate and supporting this. I suspect that it comes down to that this is a fairly isolated issue. I mean, if we're talking about like 100 users, there's a lot more 9800 X3Ds out there than 100. So they're probably doing the math and determining that this is something that they can afford to look like good guys and absorb. But maybe that's just the cynic in me. Titlord says, Tiltlord says Linus.
They should really change their name at this point.
Linus, they're only covering the motherboard. They said in the interview that CPU issues will need to be worked out with AMD. Yeah, that's fair enough. But even ASRock, to my knowledge, I don't think any hardware vendor that I can think of explicitly covers damage caused by overclocking, and PBO is explicitly overclocking. So I'm impressed.